This Lugia VSTAR deck has super high potential. Roll the intro. What is going on, everybody? Hitmonchan here, back again with another Pokemon trading card game early deck list. Today I wanted to cover Lugia VSTAR. When a Lugia VSTAR was originally revealed, I thought that it was pretty underwhelming, honestly. Like, I thought it was just kind of a straightforward card. There were too many cards that could, disrupt its game plan and turn it off. But the more and more I thought about it, and the more and more lists I saw to take inspiration from, I found out that Lugia VSTAR has quite a bit of potential in the current format. So what exactly am I talking about? What does Lugia VSTAR even do? This card isn't officially available in English yet. Well, Lugia VSTAR has the VSTAR ability Assemble Star. You may use this ability during your turn. You can put up to 2 colorless Pokemon, except Pokemon with a rule box, from your discard pile onto your bench. So you can get basic, stage 1, stage 2, any colorless Pokemon, 2 of them that aren't rule box Pokemon. Now this is very, very powerful when you take into consideration the brand new Archeops that was just revealed not too long ago in Japan's Silver Tempest. No, what is their set? Paradigm Trigger. Paradigm Trigger is their set. And it reads, once in your turn, you may search your deck for 2 special energy and attach it to one of your Pokemon. Like, straight up. That's pretty incredible, I think. Granted, it's on a stage 2 fossil Pokemon. So you can see how it really pairs nicely with Lugia VSTAR's VSTAR ability. Use that, get 2 Archeops into play, completely accelerate up a Lugia, and boom, there you go, off to the races. Now, I think that this deck has a lot of potential because of the special energy we have in the current format. Let me explain. So, right now we have double turbo energy, we have powerful colorless energy, capture energy, and we're getting the brand new V guard energy coming out in our next set. So all of these special energies really pair nicely with colorless Pokemon. So double turbo, it gives you 2 energy for 1 card, which is pretty incredible. Your damage is reduced by 20. However, powerful colorless energy is kind of what negates this. It makes your colorless Pokemon do 20 more damage, I believe. So if you have a bunch of powerful colorless on your Lugia, you can use its attack Storm Dive. It has 4 colorless energy for 220. You may discard any stadium in play. However, putting a bunch of powerful colorless energy on that, you can bump that damage output. All 4 powerful colorless are on there to 300 damage. That's 330 with Choice Spell, and that is absolutely incredible. Now, the only drawback about Lugia VSTAR is that, well, what happens if one gets knocked out? All your energy go into your discard pile, and then you can't get them back. See, that could be a little bit of an issue, which is why I decided to build this deck in a tanky manner. I think that tank is kind of the way to go with Lugia VSTAR because you can use your double turbos and heal them with cards like Hyper Potion. You can use Radiant Gardevoir to prevent 20 damage from your opponent's Pokemon V done to your Lugia, effectively putting it at 300 HP. And you can basically use Sharon's Care once your Lugia gets hit into 1 or 2 times to pick it up, keep your energy in your hand, and then go with a different Lugia and just wreak mayhem onto your opponent. So I think that's kind of the best game plan to go here. I'll go through my list right now. It'll be up on screen. But basically, we're running a 4-3 Lugia VSTAR line. Because it's our main attacker, I think it's important that that's our line here. We don't really have any other attackers. You can attack with Archeops for Pokemon like Miltank that can only get hit by a single prize Pokemon. So you can use Archeops for that. It does 120 damage for 3 energy. So we're running 4-3-3, 4 Lugia, 3 Lugia VSTAR, and then 3 Archeops as well. Especially because if one of them gets prized, you very often want to be getting 2 Archeops onto the field from your discard pile. We're also running a 2-2 line of Bidoof and Bibarel. This is going to be the draw engine for our deck. I think that Bibarel is kind of just a natural partner because you can also get it out with Assemble Star if you really need to. That's the important thing, is like you don't want to be doing that, but if you didn't get a Bidoof down the first turn and you need to get draw, like you have a very terrible hand, Bibarel can be the way to go there. We're also playing Crobat V for some additional draw support. However, depending on how well this kind of style of playing Lugia goes, you might be able to cut the Crobat. I'm not too sure if we are going to do that or not. We also have Dunsparce in here with its Mysterious Nest ability to prevent our Pokemon from having a weakness, our colorless Pokemon. So a lot of lightning decks running around right now, especially because Palkia V-Star is so good. And I just made a video on the new Zeraora VMAX and V-Star, which is super, super fun and I think has a lot of potential. So just click right up in the corner if you want to take a look at that. But Dunsparce is very important, and making sure that your Lugias and your Archeops don't get knocked out by those pesky Regielekis from the Regi decks or anything that's trying to counter Palkia right now. And for supporters, we got 4 Research, 2 Sharon's Care, 2 Marnie, 2 Serena, which is a card that has not released in English yet, which it has 2 effects, which I think is why I'd rather play 2 Serena and 1 boss over the other way around, or just a full 3 count of bosses orders, because Serena lets you discard up to 3 cards from your hand and then draw up to 5, like draw till your hand has 5 cards. Kind of like Industrious Incisors a little bit. You can discard and then draw to 5. Except Industrious Incisors doesn't have the discard, of course. So it gives you that flexibility if you draw Serena, because its second effect is just boss, but only for Pokemon V. Which right now, in our current format, before Scarlet and Violet and EXs come out and everything, is very, very strong, because you can just boss. Most of the time, you want to boss Pokemon V anyway. Like, if you're bossing something, you're going to try and knock it out, so you're going to boss it with Pokemon V. So that's why I think Serena's really, really good pick right now, but after, when Scarlet and Violet get released, it might not be the best option in this deck. Quick Ball, Ultra Ball, 4/4, pretty straightforward. We have 3 Evolution Instants as well. You might think that is a bit of a high count, and I would tend to agree, but when you think about how you want to find your Archeops and then get them in the discard pile, you want to have ways to discard in the form of Quick Ball and Ultra Ball, while also being able to grab them for free in the form of Evolution Incense. So I think that's why 3 Evolution Incense makes a little bit of sense in here. I'm also playing 3 Hyper Potion for the reasons I mentioned earlier with double turbo energy. I think that playing that double turbo down and then Hyper Potioning it away, or using Archeops' ability to get a double turbo into play, Hyper Potion it into the discard, I think is really, really strong, because you don't want your Lugia to get knocked out. Like, that's the name of the game here. You do not want your Lugia to get knocked out. And, well, I said that 2 times because that's how important it is. So you going with this tanky build, I think, is the way to go. I do play 1 Ordinary Rod, mostly for Pokemon recovery, in the sense that if we lose our Dunsparce or our Gardevoir, those can be crucial parts of our strategy. So I think 1 Ordinary Rod is pretty helpful in here, especially if you end up discarding a Lugia V-Star early on. You can Ordinary Rod it back in, because ideally you want to, if you need to, you want to play 3 Lugia V-Star, right? Like, you don't want to make your, like, run out of attackers. If you need to, and the game gets down to the wire, you have that option to go Lugia, 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 and just kind of keep playing with that. Now, we're running 2 Air Balloon for the retreat in this deck, because we have a couple of support Pokemon that we don't want to get stuck in the active. Archeops is good because it only has a 1 retreat cost, so you don't need to necessarily use a lot of energy to retreat it. And we have Double Turbo as well, which is only 1 energy attachment, so it's still pretty easy to move in and out of the active in this deck if we need. But I like having Air Balloons. Just, you know, it saves your energy. We're playing only special energy in this deck, so it can be a little bit tough to conserve your energy and manage your resources. And we're also playing 2 Choice Belt. Again, Choice Belt, very important card in this deck. Like, extremely important card. You really, really do want to be hitting those big numbers and taking big KOs, especially because Lugia V-Star's attack has a high energy cost and low base damage. And now for our energy, I already went over it somewhat. We have 4 Double Turbo, 4 Powerful Colorless. I already talked about why those cards are so good, but we have 3 Capture Energy as well in this deck, and 1 other type of energy that I'll get to in a minute. But Capture Energy is really good, so we can set up our Bidoofs and we can get other Pokemon into play. Like, if we start with a Lugia and a Bidoof, for example, we can Capture Energy and get our Gardevoir and get our Dunsparce or something, and then we can play the Crobat from our hand and hopefully find something else. Like, Capture Energy really helps so much with the setup, and it's really just a single energy attachment with no drawback at the end of the day if we really need to do so. So I think that's why Capture Energy has a place in this deck. And the last type of energy we have 2 of these. It is the V-Guard Energy. This is, I was leaving the best for last, because it's what makes Lugia V-Star so tanky and so strong. V-Guard Energy reads, when you attach this energy from your hand to your, or attach this energy to your Pokemon, they take 30 less damage from Pokemon V. Now, V-Guard Energy combined with Radiant Gardevoir is 50 less damage from Pokemon V. That is a very substantial amount of damage, especially considering you can Hyper Potion once or twice in a turn and then heal that rest of that damage. So I think very, very important card to have in this deck. You can only apply one V-Guard Energy effect at a time though, so you can attach multiple, I believe, but you only get 30 reduction. You don't get like 60 reduction from the V-Guard Energy specifically. So that's important to note, but other than that, the list is pretty straightforward. Like, you have a really straightforward game plan with this list. You really just want to get your Lugia into play. Turn 1. Turn 2, and your Bidoof, I guess. Turn 2, Lugia V-Star, Archeops and discard, Archeops into play, Archeops ability, attack with Lugia. Like, that's pretty much it. And then, like, evolve your Pokemon, or, like, get, like, your Dunsparce if you need it, or, like, your Gardevoir if you need it, and all that kind of stuff. I think the deck has the potential to be really powerful. The only thing that's going to hold it back is post-rotation, when powerful colorless energy and capture energy rotate. We're going to need some more colorless special energy to make Lugia good, because 250 damage after Choice Belt is not great. You really need to be hitting that 280 mark in order to KO V-Stars. Like, it's very necessary right now, especially when Giratina can do it for 3 energy, like, and just flat. You don't even need damage mods, right? So that's why I think the tanky build is the way to go. I have a couple cards that I might want to change, and I'm keeping in mind for now. And that is, we don't play any stadiums in this deck. So I'm considering putting in a Lost Vacuum to get rid of cards like Big Charms and Stadium if we need to, because Path to the Peak kind of just shuts off our game plan. Like, if we can't get Path to the Peak, if our list, if our opponent plays Path to the Peak, we're screwed. Like, we have no way to get rid of that. So that's a shortcoming of this deck, I absolutely see. Like, Training Court doesn't have a place. A lot of other kinds of cards don't have a place. Interesting tech card you could play is maybe Old Cemetery, because Old Cemetery only works when attaching from hand, I believe. So we attach from deck. So our opponent might take damage from the Old Cemetery, which can boost our damage output a little bit, and we're not even going to take damage from it, but you have to really play your cards right if you want to go that route. But yeah, regardless, I think that there should be 2, I'll call them stadium removal cards, either a Lost Vacuum or in the form of another stadium card. Those are very, very important in this deck. That's definitely a shortcoming of my list for sure. Maybe you can take out like 1 Serena or something, or even 1 Emo Incense. Like, some of the cards that we have a lot of for consistency's sake, we should probably put some stadiums in here. And I think that's about it for the list. I don't really see... I've even looked through like all of our rares and our holo rares for colorless Pokemon in the format, see if there's any other cool cards you can combine with Lugia. The only card that I found is this Porygon Z from Chilling Reign that has the Bug Transmission ability. When you attach an energy card from your hand to this Pokemon, you can make your opponent's active Pokemon confused. That could help bring your damage output out a little bit more too. However, I think that just keeping it simple is probably the best way to go. It's consistent, it's easy, it's not a very complex deck, so it makes it easy to know where your cards are and know what you got. So I think that I really like my version of Lugia V-Star. You could even add more healing options in here, or another supporter card you might want to add is Leon if you find that you have the space, because Leon can boost your damage output very simply, because even after, like, on your first turn of attacking, if you go first obviously, you're not really going to need much supporters unless you want to boss something up and knock it out. Or if your opponent has a V-Star in play and it's in the active they hit into, you don't get KO'd, but knocking that out would severely detriment them. You can just boom, Leon, Choice Belt. Doesn't even matter what energy you're on, you can knock it out. So it could be interesting. I don't know if it's necessary though. And that's about it. I don't really think there's much else to comment about in this deck. So yeah, if you like the video, be sure to leave a like down below. It helps me out so much. Comment on this video. I want to know your thoughts. What do you think of this deck? Would you like, would you dislike, what would you keep, and what would you change about my Lugia V-Star list? We know for sure we need some stadium removal in here, either a counter stadium or a Lost Vacuum or something. Like, that's an absolute necessity in this deck. Maybe even a Pumpkaboo could be useful too, right? Anyways, I'm not gonna keep rambling anymore. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy these types of videos. I post 2 new Pokemon trading card game videos every single week here on the Hitmonchan channel, so subscribe and click that little notification bell so you never miss an upload. And with all that said and done, Hitmonchan out.